Keith, thank you so much for joining this interview. I really appreciate it.
Oh, sure.
Before we dive in, I would like to get to know you a bit, just whatever you would like to share.
Sure. I am based in New Jersey and, USA, New Jersey. I am the IT director for a law firm.
So what kind of project or work do you usually handle?
I'm the IT department, so, we handle all the IT needs for the firm, phones, everything else.
How long have you been using PlatoForms?
I want to say 2 or 3 years now, I think.
Wow. What kind of problem were you trying to solve back then?
We have to collect forms from we have 70 attorneys at the law firm, and every few weeks or so, sometimes more often, they have to, we have a new client or a current client needs to know if any of the attorneys have done any work for money for that client outside of the firm, they have to disclose that. So it used to be a paper form that would be sent to every attorney. They would have to circle yes or no, and then if it was yes, they would have to describe what they actually did for that money. So we moved that to a Plato form, so it gets emailed to all of them, and they are able to answer it that way. We also use it for one of our departments is trust and estates that does wills and things like that. And rather than it's a pretty lengthy form that the attorneys need filled out by the people who are having their will made. It's like it was like a 12-page PDF, and most people wanted to fill it out online before they came in to meet with the attorney. So we took that form and we're able to make it into a form online through PlatoForms that now gets sent out, is posted on our website, or the attorneys send out to people to fill out before they have their first meeting with them.
Is it useful for you?
Oh, very, very much so. It gets filled out sometimes 2 or 3 times a day, sometimes 4 or 5 times a day. It just depends on how many clients. But like I said, either it's sometimes a secretary will email the client a link to the form, or it's also on our website. So if people find our website, through Google or whatever, and are looking to have a will made by one of our attorneys, they can fill out the form online, submit it, and then they get a phone call and they can set up a meeting and get their will taken care of.
Yeah, I think that's much more better and save time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. At what point in your workflow do you usually use PlatoForms? Like correct information, send approvals, share PDFs, whatever fits best.
It's mostly for collecting information. Like I said, mainly the form for the wills for the trust and estates attorney. That's really the main use we have for it, and it's been great.
After you send PlatoForms, have you noticed any changes in your workflow or results?
I can update the form on PlatoForms, and it's easy. But like I said, the biggest time saving has been for the attorneys and the assistants who have to actually use the form and actually collect the information and use the information that's been submitted. It's saved them a lot of time. But even when I have to make changes to the form, it's easy for me to make those changes very quickly.
Roughly how many forms or submissions do you handle in a week or a month? Just roughly. Could you remember that?
Yeah, in a week, I would think probably as many as 10 in a week. So probably 30 a month probably on that form.
So maybe this is really helpful for you.
Yeah, no, like I said, it used to be form had to be printed or mailed to people, sent in the mail, or people would come to the office and do it. So now they do it at home. They submit it, and then they get a phone call to set up a meeting. So it's saving the client time, and it saves our attorneys time because they're not helping people sit there, fill out forms. It's all done in advance, and it's all ready to go.
Yeah, much more convenient, right?
Yes. I think other departments, legal departments want to start to do the same thing because they see how well it's worked. So we're trying to find any forms that any department has filled out by their clients regularly, and we want to make those into PlatoForms as well because it's worked out so well so far.
So which features do you find yourself use most often in PlatoForms?
The upload the PDF and the way it made the form for me was very good. I like the way that it can format all the different fields and how it can, because sometimes the fields are smaller than what people need to write, just the way the form was made. So the fact that it can wrap text and dynamically change the font size so it all fits on the form when it's then sent in, and then eventually it gets printed for the file, it always comes out nice, and it's never hard to read or difficult to use once it's been submitted.
How much faster or more effective it became?
Yeah, I would say 3 or 4. I mean, it's so much better. I mean, it used to be, it's a 12-page form, so people have to sit there and handwrite a 12-page form, which takes a long time, and then they would have to either mail it in or drop it off in person. Then it would have to get scanned, and then and then people have bad handwriting, so it's hard to read. So it just saves time for the client, saves time for the secretary who has to actually collect all the information from the form, and then when the attorneys actually use that form to write up someone's will, everything's right there, easy to read, neat, and put together, and all ready for them. Saves more time than I could even put a number on.
Have you tried another form tools before, like Google Forms, John Form, or anything you tried before?
I did try. My first thought was Google Forms, but I've never been a big fan of Google Forms. I just don't like. I don't like that anyone who filled it out had to have a Google account. It just made it very difficult for them, because not everyone, most people do, but not everyone does, or not everyone wants to use that. So the fact that PlatoForms was separate from Google and didn't require any accounts or any signups or anything, people could just submit their form quickly and easily. That was the biggest thing.
So we made difference.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. Thank you. What do people filling out your forms usually say about the experience? Is it easier to fill in, work well on mobile, or felt more professional? Something like that.
I know people have done it on mobile, but most people I think do it on computer. And I've never had anyone tell me that clients had a problem or that they couldn't use it or do it. Everyone's seen it's always worked very well. I haven't had any trouble with it. I mean, we started out with the free plan and then upgraded to a paid plan to get the custom domain name and all the other stuff. So it's worked out. It's worked out great.
Yeah, that's a good one. If you were recommending PlatoForms to a friend, what would you describe it?
I would describe it as very simple and very easy and but also very powerful, and does a very good job of collecting the information and getting it to you very quickly, and it's great.
Okay, thank you so much.
Perfect, very good.
Thank you. So have a nice day. Thank you so much for sharing.
You got it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.